Today we're going to move further in our side control series, and specifically we're going to talk about arm triangles. Yay! Yeah, side control. So, everything we've done thus far has been predicated. Let me get you turned so that your head's facing up. And we're going to just the hair. Perfect. And Tony, right? So, we've gone over all of our positional elements, getting our shoulder pressure, all this. Getting the shoulder under the jawline. We're going to focus on this in our next technique a little bit more. But this is going to be very important, getting the shoulder under the jaw. Now, everything we've done thus far has been predicated off of this rhino horn principle, wherein he tries to frame my face away. So think about, instead of trying to push me down towards your waist, think about lifting your elbow up to the ceiling. Right, exactly. See, it opens this big window. So I catch this, I drive this, and we've talked about here. And we talked about what happens if I drive here and it circles over here, and so on and so forth. But what we haven't yet addressed is what if I get my head in this position, and John, I'm going to try to push your elbow this way, and you're going to actively push your elbow in this way. What if I can't move this arm, right? A lot of times you should be able to move this arm, like most of the time, right? Because if I give you some resistance, if I use my whole body, I should be able to beat his one arm. But if he's big, if my head's not quite in the right position, you know, just sometimes things get a little awry. So, quick physics. Right, there's like physics and letters above my head. Point. If John, so do me a favor, put that pressure on my hand, please, that elbow pressure. If I let go, what's going to happen right now?
What are you going to do?
Right, if I were to stop pressing against his elbow, he's pushing it actively into me, and I let go, where's he going to go?
He's going to turn towards
right? Exactly, right? So, we're going to take advantage of this principle. I'm here, he frames, he starts lifting his elbow up, I rhino horn, I'm driving, and then I'm going to move your hand out of the way just so it doesn't get crunched in there. But he's driving that elbow in, so driving into me, and I parry it out of the way. I use his own push. This is very important for arm triangles, guys, because I see people trying to do this all the time, and they look stupid, and everyone's laughing at them behind their back. This guy has this very passive frame, so when you're not pushing, you're just here, and they're like doing this. It's like, guys, if I'm trying to do this, where is he going to put his elbow? In the damn way, right? Like, that's just logical. He's going to block this window. I want him to actively push this elbow up. I want him to actively push this elbow in so that I can shuck it by. Okay? Once I get here, guys, my whole battle is not letting this arm, so be super loose, this arm clear out. So there are two basic ways this arm can go to clear. Number one is it can go straight to the side. And number two is it can go up and around. Right? So I have to block both of those. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue my ear to his, kind of right between the tricep and the bicep, right on the outside of the arm. Right, so if he pushes his arm into me to get it free, it should be difficult. And as long as I kind of look over, try to bring your elbow over your head, I can block. We're going to end up putting something to block that right away, but I just want to point out this elbow detail. The next thing that I'm going to do here, guys, is my forehead is touching the floor. Okay? This is what's, I'm going to loosen up on the choke for a second, but my forehead going to the mat is what's going to stop him. So you can even like raise that elbow and get it around my head. This is what stops him from getting that arm free. Over his head. Does that make sense, guys? Mm-hmm. Okay? So I'm here, I'm listening, and I'm dropping. My palm is going to turn up on his shoulder, and I'm here. Now, I'm going to transition my legs to the other side, but there's a very important detail of how I do this. Let's see the best way to show this will probably be, let's rotate so our feet are facing the camera, and the group enlarge. Okay? If I just la-di-da-di-da try to step my thing over, what's he going to do? He'll grab my leg. Okay, so I don't do this. When I transition, guys, I'm framing on the hip. So you see how my head's on the floor. I'm framing on the hip. I'm going to drag my knee across his belly and keep my foot back here. You guys see that?
Yeah.
Can you see that, Lila? Mm-hmm. From here, I'm going to replace that with this. My kickstand. This is just a good motion to get used to doing. So it's like my knee's on the mat, my foot's hooking his hip. I windshield, like I bring my knee in and my foot up. Replace and kickstand. From here, I'm going to drop off to this side, and now we're going to start working for our finish. Let's do that. Back to the knee. Let's do that. Let's scoot a little bit this way, and then I want your head to face the camera. Okay. So I'm here, right? He frames, drive, he resists, parry. Cut, listen, and drop. I'm heavy on my head, palming the hip. Knee comes up, windshield wiper across, kickstand, and drop. Okay, now, here's the thing about arm triangles, guys. You see people do arm triangles all the time, and I've seen some really crappy attempts to finish arm triangles in my day. And usually they're predicated on something like this. Squeeze them real hard, okay? Guys, this is not a choke that needs my squeeze, all right? I'm literally gonna show you guys, I don't even need to connect my hands to finish this, okay? What I'm going to do, so I'm loosening up right now just so I don't kill John while I demonstrate the nuances here. I wanna get my arm as deep, my elbow as deep under his neck as possible. So like if you guys look, I don't want any space between, if I could fit a finger in there, there's too much space. You guys see what I'm talking about? So this wants to pull through. The way that I'm going to do that from this position is I'm going to grab my hand and I'm going to wrench it through. You can ask John, that already starts to feel tight, right? Now, what I'm going to do here, guys, is I'm going to get my sternum to the floor, my forehead to the floor, and I'm going to listen or glue my head to his head, right? So I switched over, right? You guys remember? Windshield wiper over, right? Lace this through, I drop, and I go flat, like on the mat. And then I'm pushing my head to his head. And then all I'm going to do here, guys, is flex my muscles. How's that feel?
Okay.
Right? If I need to, I'll walk like the hand of a clock towards the direction of his head to fasten that tighter. I literally don't need to connect my hands. It doesn't even help me to connect my hands. Like, if you ask John, it's like, is that really making it tighter versus that? Right? All I'm doing, guys, is flexing these guns.
Word.
That's right. Okay. It's pretty straightforward, honestly. It's just a lot of like little details. You okay in there?
Yeah.
Right. So let's see. Alex, can you grab me? I'm gonna go through all that again.
You got a minute left.
Got a minute left. Awesome. I'm beating the clock.
Nice.
So again, I have my partner in side control. I have everything. Head control, shoulder pressure, the whole nine. He starts lifting his elbow, so put that forearm in my face, start lifting your elbow up. So I parry and I drive, and then let's say you don't want me to bring that arm away, right? You're pushing it into me, I shuck it back. A lot of times when I do this, I'll push that elbow into me, it's like almost like a slap, both to demoralize them and to, no, that's so from here, once I get this, I'm listening to his arm to start out. He's gonna try to widen that space right away. So right, exactly, he's gonna try to bring your elbow away from me. From here, palm up, forehead to the mat. Now he's trapped. Hand on the hip, knee comes up, foot stays pat. Windshield wiper over. From here, I can drift down, drag that elbow deeper under his neck, flatten out. My palm is on the mat, forehead on the mat, listen to his head, and then flex my bicep. How'd that feel?
Tight.
Does that make sense, guys? Excellent. Let's partner up, let's work it out. 1, 2, 3. That was great.